Okay, so welcome back. So now we're looking at, in this case, we're going to call it statistics. So essentially a statistic, it's a number, it's a single number that can be used to summarize an entire set of data or a group of scores. So we're first of all going to start with what we call measures of center. So think of, we've got a whole load of data and we're just going to try and work out center, meaning sort of middle. Okay, so the first one is the one that I think everyone is familiar with. It's the mean. So another word for these is average. So the mean is sort of what when we say average, this is the one we sort of think of. So the mean is where we add all the scores. And divide by the number of scores. And I'm hoping everyone's familiar with that. So we just add up all the things that we've got and divide by how many things. And I'm hoping most people are familiar with that one. The median. So these are just three different numbers that sort of represent, these are all kind of averages, but when we use the word average, we tend to be talking about this one. So don't just think of that as the average. These are all different types of average. Okay, so the median is, if we put when scores are ordered from smallest to largest, the median is the middle score. So there's a little formula that goes with this, and it essentially, the idea of the formula is it tells you what position the median will be, because if you imagine we've got an even number of statistics, an even number of scores, if we divide those two into two halves, we've sort of got nothing in the middle. So the median is sometimes it's a particular piece of data. Sometimes we need to do the mean of the two scores that it's in between. So for example, if we have, I'm just going to come up with a very small group and we go 1, 2, 3, just say that's my set of things. Because we've got an odd number of them, we've got one member that's in the middle. So the median of 1, 2, 3 is 2, because it's the middlemost term. And that will tend to happen when we've got an odd number of terms. If we had 1, 2, 3, and 4, because we've got an even number of terms, our middle is essentially in between those two terms. So in this case, we need to use our, what we would call the average. We add those two together and divide by 2. So this is 4. Even numbered sets of data. So in this case, in the top case, the median is 2. In this case, we've got to go 2 plus 3 divided by 2 equals 2.5. So that is in a case where we have an even number of things, because when we look right in the middle, we'll have the same amount of things here as we do there. But when we've got an odd number of things, there will be this one leftover thing in the middle. So the little formula to find where the median is right here, n plus 1 over 2, where n is the number of scores we've got. We add 1 to it and divide by 2. So in this case, where we had 3 things, start with 3, add 1, which is 4, divide by 2. So that would be, 3 plus 1 on 2 equals 4 on 2 is 2. So that means our median is in the second position. 1, 2, there it is. In this case, 4 numbers, we'd have to go 4 plus 1 on 2. So that is 5 divided by 2, which is 2.5. That happens to be the same, but this is talking about the 2.5th term. So essentially, the median is in between term 2 and 3. The more we go over that, the simpler it will become. So I'll just leave that for now. The mode is the score or the group with the highest frequency. Or the score is the group with the highest frequency, so that's the group with the largest amount of data in it, or scores the most frequent score, the most frequent group. That's probably the best way to say it. So it's the score that has the most bits of data. Okay. But I kind of think everyone has seen these before. Okay, so just rub that out. So over here, the 1.2.1. Calculate the mean, median, and mode for the following data. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is rewrite all the data, except I'm going to put it from smallest to largest. So I'm just going to look at it. We've got a 7, 8, we've got a 9, 2 10s, 11, we've got 2 12s, 14, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's put commas between them. So I haven't quite arranged it in the same way, but now they're in order from smallest to largest. Okay, so for the mean, we need to add all those numbers up, and we have 10 numbers. So whatever the total is, we'll divide it by 10. So let's try and do this in our heads. 7 and 8 is 15, and 9 is 24, 34, 44, 55, 67, 79, 79 and 4, 83, 93, 108. So the sum $108. So the mean is 108 divided by the 10 things equals 10.8. And that's it. Even though we had whole numbers as our actual scores, the mean has come out as a decimal. Sometimes that happens. So the median, we've got 10 things. So I'm going to do this n plus 1 over 2. 10 plus 1 over 2. 11 over 2. So that's my 5.5th term is the median. So I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's in between my 5th and 6th. So I need to find the average of those two terms. 10 plus 11 divided by 2. I said average. I should say mean. This is 21 divided by 2 is the median. And finally, the mode is the score that comes up most often. So we've only got 1 7, we've got 1 8, 9. So we've got 2 10s. And we've also got 2 12s. For the mode, we have 2. And this is what we call bimodal. Bi meaning 2. So the mode is 10 and 12. That's it. Sure, this is quite mostly revision. I hope all that made sense. See you in the next video.